right. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, this is PDE, as I'll call myself. And I don't know if I've ever said my name. My first name is Paul. And anyways, guys and gals, this is another episode of... let me make sure this is on the right track because it's already engaging here. Of Last Frontier Garage. And forgive me for not doing a proper intro. Okay, I'm going to at least start lifting this up while I talk. This is our van. This is actually the van that I drive every day doing pet care visits, and mostly. And transmission is shown signs of a little bit of slippage in the drive. Fill it and drive, hit the gas, delayed engagement, stuff like that. It's full of fluid, so I've always babied the transmission. It doesn't do that every time. But I took my son up to Cub Scout camp. One of the things he did this summer, I noticed a little bit of a whiny sound to the van. And then after my wife's parents just visited, we have a definite whine in the front end. So as you'll see in the title of this video, this is a 2001 Chevrolet Venture van, and I'm investigating a whine that corresponds with wheel speed. One of the things I did is I shifted it into neutral while I was driving it, and the pitch of the whine did not change at all. So I at least know it's either in the final drive bearings of the transmission, or the wheel bearings, or the tires. I know what bad tires sound like, so I actually know that that's not the cause of this, although I wouldn't rule it out. Ooh, get a little bit of rust down there. So I don't think it's tires at all. It's either wheel bearings or, unfortunately, a transmission issue. But what I was saying is I wouldn't rule out the tires, you know. A lot of times people... Sorry, I thought it was like in the frame. I got to understand where the frame's at. So a lot of people rule out certain things right off the bat. You really got to stick to the basics on stuff. And never, ever rule out any option. So, anyways, because it could very well be the tires, but I don't think so. It's not a tire noise. It's a deeper, lower tone whine, and it sounds like a anyway, I won't even try to do that. Anyways, let me focus in here, guys. You always want to see. Problem with all these videos is, you know, well, myself, everybody, you know, just make sure we don't get distracted making these videos. Okay, so. Alright, so what I'm doing, guys, is I'm raising the vehicle up. Let me check the deal here. So I gotta be down. My head has to be down to the top of here. Okay, cool. So, guys, what I'm gonna do is I got the front end off the ground. This is the front wheel drive vehicle, so I don't have to worry about the rears. I am gonna set the parking brake. I'm gonna put it in drive, and what I'll do is I'll show you a cool trick on how to find out. Number one, what I'm going to do is use a stethoscope to kind of check different points, but what I'm going to go straight to is the coils on the struts. And I'll show you the tool I'm going to use. This is the stethoscope amplifier option that probably most of you are familiar with. And what it is, see if I can switch up to my close-ups here. Hello. Alright, well, anyway. So what it is a very thin metal plate attached to this rod. So it basically, the sound conducts through here and it just amplifies it, kind of like an eardrum. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start the vehicle up, put it in drive, and I'm going to check each coil spring on each side, and if it is a wheel bearing, that coil spring will tell me which one it is. And if I don't hear anything major, then I'm going to go ahead and test the output of the transmission and find out if it's a bearing right there. So let's start it up and check it out. No. Ah. Oh boy. Well. Oops. Alright. Good Lord. Now this thing's giving me a pain. Sorry guys. So, answers weren't definitive. Now I started up, and usually with a front wheel drive vehicle, one of the tires is going to start spinning faster than the other, and the other one's going to eventually slow down to where you can't even get a reading. So initially I went to this spring, heard it. Went to this spring, notice a noticeable difference. Went to this spring, just wasn't as definite as I'm used to. And I probably should have somebody hit the gas, and maybe I could do that in fact, and get a little bit better idea. Let me do that. I'm going to set the throttle so it actually goes, because it just, really hoping it's not a transmission bearing, because it sounded actually loudest on the passenger side of the transmission, but transmissions tend to make a lot of noise, but I really hope that wasn't a bearing starting to groan, because this thing would probably just go in the trash heap. If, if this thing has transmission issues, guess what? Anyway, so let's see here, guys. Where are we at? Let me see here. So 12 minutes. And let me do that throttle thing real quick, and then I'll be the last test. Then I pretty much know what to do first. I just don't want to throw any parts of this thing. All right. Put it. Well, man, oh man. Oh Lord. Alright, guys and gals. Oh my goodness. So, first of all, the set of summer tires that are on this thing aren't that great. They're a good set of tires, but this one I saw actually wobbling pretty good. So what I'll probably do is tomorrow I'll swap the tires. Well, I should do it tonight. I guess I should just do that real quick. I'm going to throw the tires front to back. In fact, I'm going to throw this one front to back and try it. And then see if it changes. If not, man, I think it's the transmission bearing. Sounds like literally some sort of final drive bearing on this side of the transmission. But who knows, guys? Just the way it was whining, it sounded like a bearing. It didn't sound like a tire noise. Tire noises are usually more of a hum or a groan or a, some sort of a, whatchamacallit, higher pitched sounds than a deeper whine that I heard. Anyways, alright, let me just do this. Man, guys. Crazy. So guys, this is the hard work of diagnosing sounds like this. You gotta be willing to try everything, but the more experience you have, the more stuff you see, the more problems that are common. I mean, I may get a wheel bearing, throw it in the passenger side, see if it makes a difference. I'll see if I can return it first before I do that, but I gotta deal with O'Reilly and all that, so who knows. But guys, real quick, I'm just gonna buzz this passenger front tire off, throw it on the rear back there, throw the rear tire just back there on the front, and if my noise changes locations, I'll know it's a tire issue. Again, you never want to discount the tire issue. No pun intended for that company out there. They are not a sponsor in any way. And let me see here. So I'm really hoping it's not this transmission, guys. Ugh. I will. This thing may go on the chopping block if it is. Because to pull that transaxle out, obviously it's horizontally mounted and it would be a pain in the butt. And then to get it rebuilt would be just at least $1,000, I'm sure. The thing's worth, I don't know. I'm not sure what I could sell it for. $1,500 at least. Anyways, guys, 20 minutes in. I was meaning to make this a short video, but this was tough. It's not definitive. I'll definitely give you guys part 2. Stay tuned. Hope all is well. God bless.